John Swarfield from Heriot-Watt University in Scotland. Could I say that your presentation was excellent, and I think it's not just a US presentation.
I just wish to hell somebody from America would say it was good.
Well, I think that what you've said could have been presented in the UK, and it would have applied in the UK. I think climate change in terms of water for us is going to mean reductions of around about 20% in rainfall in the southeast and 40% extra in the bit of the UK I come from in Scotland. I think what you said about getting out there with a message, if I can give an example, climate change is all about carbon. No, it isn't. It's not all about carbon. We should be out there saying water is the new carbon and actually moving that forward. So I agree entirely with what you've said. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Paul James, a mix of Australian and American, actually moving to America with my business. But I've been doing work for probably 2 years in the States, talking to regulators in different states across the US regarding grey water. And the biggest observation I have is the enormous amount of resource required in each state to educate them as they make their codes. Can you see a way that this approach or this technology can be pushed at more of a federal level so that manufacturers are not having to spend an inordinate amount of energy and money pushing changes at a state level?
Well, you know, people respond to partnerships. I think if the industry sort of came to the Department of Water and Power and say, we need to put on a massive education program, and if you guys will put up $5 million a year, we'll put up $1 million or $2 million, and have a specific proposal that it could happen. I do think that democracy can't work with an ignorant population, and all I can talk about is the people of Los Angeles. 90% of them, you ask them where their water comes from, they'll say out of the faucet. And that's all they know about it. And so we have a huge education. The toughest thing we have to do is to persuade people that grew up in another country to drink the water out of the tap water, because in their country it was poisonous. So we got some of the poorest people in Los Angeles going to the grocery store and spending huge sums of money out of their budget for water, and so educate without even wanting to drink our water. So education is a huge opportunity and a necessity. And, you know, the Department of Water and Power is not spending hardly any money on education. But I do think if the industry or some industry group came to them and said, we'll be your partner in a water education program, that would strike a spark.
The question is, how long do you think it would take to put a coalition of proponents of water recycling people together if you have an idea, and this is, I know, putting you on the spot.
Well, it depends, depends on how much time you are willing to put into it.
Yeah, we'll put it together.
I mean, you've just volunteered to be the leader now.
Yeah, we'll put it together, but how long would it take, say we put a proposal together?
I think you know, I'm an advisor to the mayor. I could get you a pretty rapid response to a proposal like that within a couple of weeks.
Oh, is that right? Great. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Because they're looking for some live action, and you know, anytime somebody from the industry comes to the city with a good idea, it's going to get some attention. Especially at a time when there's jobs involved in it, and they're hurting for trying to get people back to work. So the time to strike is now. You guys have got more important things to do, unless there's any more burning questions. I think this lady, well, she gets to speak, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so grateful for your talk. I'm Christina Bertia, and I work with volunteer organizations in the Bay Area, the Greywater Alliance and Greywater Action. And I just want to report that when you make education available to people about these ways to reuse water and how to learn how to do it for themselves, there's a huge response. Like we do trainings, we do workshops teaching people how to install their own greywater systems, which now, having participated in the California Greywater Code rewrite, is feasible. People are really responsive, so it's somehow finding ways to make that education available to them. So
well, you joined with this young man up here, and we got a coalition already.
Right.
Thank you.
Do you think for all the innovation that our industry is coming up with, are we failing in terms of educating the public?
Well, failing might be too strong a word, but I don't think you're even trying. You only fail if you try and don't succeed. But I don't think there's a serious effort to educate the public. I think we're talking to ourselves, and that's been the problem for a long, long time. These organizations have serious answers to a very serious problem, and that is the shortage of water. And they have answers that would put a lot of their members to work. They have a public interest, a national interest, and also a self-interest. And yet the general public doesn't know about it. And in a democracy, unless you have an educated public, it's hard to get the public officials to go your way.
We had a lot of international people speaking to you afterwards, and these countries such as Australia have tackled these problems and had a lot more success. Do you see America kind of having to look abroad to get some of these answers on how to communicate that to the public?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that our profession is dominated by engineers, and I went to Georgia Tech as a civil engineer, and I think engineers generally think that politics is dirty. Engineers like to just do stuff and not yak about it. But unless you, and they think that bragging is kind of uncool. But in a democracy, it's the squeaky wheel that gets the attention, and we're not squeaking.
All right. Thank you so much for coming today.